Morgan Ashley, and meteorologist Justin Spinney, bringing you the content that connects our community. You're watching NonStop Local KHQ at 11.
Well, opening day at the Spokane County Interstate Fair, and those who attended got a break from the extreme heat, but air quality still a concern. Smoke is still hanging over the inland Northwest, prompting health officials to advise you limit outdoor activity for sensitive groups. Good evening. I'm Morgan Ashley. We're tracking the air quality tonight along with some of the wildfires causing haze. We're going to show you where the smoke's coming from and how it's impacting events like the fair. But first, here's meteorologist Justin Spinney. He's tracking everything you need to know.
And Morgan, when it comes to that smoke, it's unfortunately something we're going to have to battle again tomorrow. We'll start to see some improvements, I think, Sunday. But those improvements are going to be very slow and gradual. So let's get right into it with those air quality alerts. Most of us in the inland Northwest are under an air quality alert until further notice. Really through the weekend is when we expect these alerts to continue through, and you want to take those precautions, especially if you're in sensitive groups when it comes to smoke. If you have a history of respiratory illness or if you're elderly age, these are all things to pay attention to. You want to keep an eye on that air quality index because the reality is right now, Northeast Washington has the worst air quality in the country. Colville in hazardous range right now when it comes to that air quality. Around that, where we have the red, that's unhealthy air quality throughout much of Northeast Washington, and we've seen a lot of that smoke from Northeast Washington travel down toward areas of Central Washington, where we're also seeing some unhealthy air quality. And tonight, we're starting to see some pockets pop up around Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, of unhealthy air quality for those sensitive groups. Again, tomorrow, we're going to see more of that fluctuating air quality. It's probably going to start out pretty bad for many of us first thing in the morning, and this is why. Looking at the Futurecast smoke map, similar to what we've seen over the last couple of days, it's more of a northeasterly push with that smoke that we're going to see. So more of that smoke from Northeast Washington is going to be headed into Central Washington, and then that's eventually going to push farther east as we head into our Saturday night and Sunday morning. So we could wake up to some bad air quality for many of us in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, early Sunday morning. Later into Sunday, though, that's when things start to improve a little bit and we get more of a typical westerly breeze that'll push more of that smoke back up toward Montana, Canada, and again, it'll start our improvement process, but it's going to be a slow improvement process that we'll watch through next week. So what do temperatures look like along the way? A better cool off for us tonight with that smoke, down to 61 in Spokane, 59 into Coeur d'Alene, Colville, Kettle Falls. We're definitely thinking about you with that smoke, but you'll be one of the coolest areas tonight. Those temperatures falling down into the low 50s. The highs for tomorrow, take this with a grain of salt because we may trend a little bit cooler than this because of that smoke acting as cloud cover tomorrow. Right now I have 91 in Spokane. I wouldn't be surprised though if we don't quite get out of the 80s tomorrow. Could be a bit warmer over into areas like Coeur d'Alene, even the Silver Valley reaching the 90s tomorrow at 93, 91 on the Palouse. Warmer areas looking at the LC Valley, Grand Coulee, topping out in the upper 90s. There is a little weather system that we're going to start to watch though tomorrow. That will pick up our winds just a little bit, especially into the southern part of the region. The main part of this system is going to sit over toward western Oregon, western Washington, but it is going to bring this wave with it that will increase our cloud cover, and with that, as we head through tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we could see a few light showers as well. Something to keep in mind if you're headed out to that Washington State Cougar game with the late kickoff. Don't think you'll see a ton of rain, but a few raindrops certainly not out of the question. Full look here at our 7-day forecast, down to 85 for our high temperature into Sunday, and that cooling trend really continues, and it will feel much cooler through the middle of next week, and that's when the better rain shower chances make their arrival. Bring on the rain. It would help us out in so many ways right now with the smoke, with the fires. We'd love to see it, especially when you add it to those cooler temperatures with highs topping out in the mid-70s, closer to our seasonal averages for this time of year.
Well, in continuing coverage, the main concession stand at Avista Stadium, home to the Spokane Indians, caught fire early this morning. We brought you this as breaking news throughout the wake-up show as firefighters successfully stopped it from burning more into the stadium. But the structure itself was unstable, or there was instability issues, and then there was a fire also in the attic, which meant firefighters couldn't enter the building to put out the flames. Again, we brought you this as breaking news around 2:30 this morning, and the building continued to smolder into the afternoon. NonStop Local's Belle Lewis spoke with the general manager of the Indians to explain what this concession stand means to him and the organization.
It's still in a little disbelief and a little shock that this all happened.
Kyle Day says he got the call at 3 a.m., threw on some clothes and ran to see the fire. He explains 90% of the stadium's food, including the Indians' famous hot dog, comes out of that building. Now it's just a smoldering skeleton. The concession stand was built in 2012, but under the 2021 master plan, renovations were done to the tune of $400,000. Those improvements likely lost to the flames. Despite the loss, though, Day says the community response has been touching.
And excuse me. Take the outpouring of support that we've received today, whether it's phone calls, text messages, people dropping by, has meant a lot.
They said that while the loss is a setback, the Indians will regroup and come together, and the concessions will be back. Due to the extreme structure damage, investigators weren't able to enter the scene to determine a cause or at least start their investigation until this afternoon, and that investigation does continue.
You know, when we got here, you guys know this country way better than we do. Where these fires are at is really, really difficult terrain. You guys know that. It's very difficult to fight fire in a lot of that country. And then ultimately the weather posed really hard challenge for our firefighters with very extreme fire behavior. It was very difficult to get at here the last couple of days.
That is part of the community meeting held tonight for the Crown Creek, Black Hawk Mountain, and Katy Creek fires. It was hosted at Kettle Falls High School, where firefighters answered questions and then provided the latest information. More than 600 personnel now working on those three fires. They burned nearly 16,000 acres across Stevens and Ferry counties. All three are partially responsible for spreading the smoky air that you're seeing across the inland Northwest. All three still 0% contained as crews work around the clock to establish new fire lines and manage spot fires. To a story just in now out of Nez Perce County, a deadly shooting in north central Idaho has left one person dead, another injured. Nez Perce Tribal Police say this happened around 5:30 tonight near Ash Avenue and Thunder Hill Road in Lapway. Female victim died at the scene and a male victim was taken to the hospital. Officers detained a suspect at the scene but haven't released a name or possible motive. The sheriff's office, state police, and FBI are helping out. Police say there's no ongoing threat. Washington state health officials are breaking from the CDC. They're expanding who they recommend should get the updated COVID vaccine. The state's Department of Health now recommends the shot for everyone 6 months and older, regardless of underlying conditions. It's a shift from current guidance, which limits the vaccine to seniors and people at high risk. Washington is aligning instead with medical groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics. State Representative Michael Baumgartner spoke with our Sean Owsley about the brewing fight over vaccine guidance.
I did read about that announcement. I think sometimes the governors of these states have looked at very partisan politics and reacting to what's gone on in Washington, D.C. and with President Trump, and I hope that's not the case here. I'm somebody that thinks vaccines do a lot of good. Certainly, I think it's good for people to get their vaccinations, but you want to have the ability for people to have full information to make that decision themselves.
The state warns vaccine supply may be limited through September as providers wait for shipments of the updated formula. The vaccine is still covered by most insurance plans and will be free through state programs once they become available later in the fall. Now to the Together Spokane initiative set to appear on the ballot this November. Spokane Public Schools and Spokane Parks and Rec teaming up for a series of town halls this fall. The first of those Tuesday, September 16th from 6 to 7 p.m. at Rogers High School. 3 more planned for the rest of fall, so September 23rd and the 30th, as well as October 7th. Everyone's welcome to attend, but if you're unable to make it in person, the recording will be posted online. And of course, we will have more details on our website, nonstoplocal.com. Well, it is a Friday night in September, and that means high school football teams were out in full force. And Austin and AJ are standing by in the Northern Cross Sports Studio. Welcome back, SWX Overtime.
We love
right?
it. It's a holiday for us here in the sports department, Morgan. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We've got so much to get to for SWX Overtime, so let's get to it. We'll take a break and come back and get all your highlights coming up.